Harden tries to hook Lonzo here. Not only does he not get the call, offensive foul. Not great, not going great. Oh, watch this. That used to work. Nope, now it's going the other way. More on this game later. Moving on to the weird. Hornets in Los Angeles. Time running out in the third. Melo tries to save this, bounce it off Kelly Oubre. Instead, gets it to Malik Monk, who hits the three. Malik ends up with 10. Melo ends up with 29. Rondo ends up ejected. Lakers win. Wonderful now. Got 2 more plays here. I thought it was finally the wonderful. Wolves down 3 in Memphis.
This is great.
1.1 seconds on the clock. Lob to Cat. Nope. Long-range bomb to Cat to send it to overtime. Grizz win despite the heroics. New country album title. Memphis, 5th place in the West. And finally the weird. We're back to Nets Bulls. Harden, who was complaining about not getting calls earlier in the game, gets one here, goes into full celebration mode. Oh, I'm sure the refs love this. Oh, the Nets love it too. Here's where you're not celebrating. You guys lost. Harden shoots 3 free throws in the game, finishes with 14 points. And that's weird and wonderful from the national pastimes.
That's great. All right, time to run the fast break. NBA champ Antoine Walker joining us this morning. Morning, Twan. Here we go. Crazy play in the Nuggets Heat game. 2:39 left to go. Markieff Morris gets called for the foul. Then Nikola Jokic delivers the forearm to his back in retaliation. The MVP was ejected from the game, as was Morris, a game the Nuggets did end up winning. Here's what Heat coach Eric Spoelstra said after the game.
Just absolutely uncalled for. And it would have looked a lot different. This whole thing could have been a whole lot uglier if Markieff was actually facing Jokic. You know, the fact that he had his back turned and he made a play like that, you know, blindsiding him, that's just a very dangerous play.
I don't know who showed me the clip, and actually his head snapped back. So I feel really bad. I mean, it's a reaction. You know, it's a bad move.
Antoine, does Nikola Jokic's shove warrant a suspension?
I mean, yeah, he deserves to because he blindsided him. He deserves to be suspended. But I think we have to look at this from both sides and be realistic. The Morris brothers are learning to be tough guys in this league. They consider them dirty players. I don't consider them dirty players. I consider them the more physical players in the league that we have today, being that the game has changed. I played the game in the late 90s, early 2000s, where you had enforcers on teams. So I'm not necessarily against the Morris brothers and the way they play, but if you look at this play, and we're not on the court to understand, was it chirping? Was it anything else to lead up to it to make the Joker react the way he did? Obviously, you never want to blindside a guy because a guy can really get hurt in that situation. But the play before that, he hit him with a nice elbow right there. And this is a heated game. The Heat are playing great basketball. Denver's at home. So you got to think about all the emotions that's going through a player. But those guys have got to understand the reputation that they have in the league as being physical, tough, rough players, and players are going to react. It's unfortunate he had to hit him from the back, so you got to take your punishment on that. And obviously, I think he should be suspended the game. But do not think that those guys are like, you know, pushovers and that they don't deserve a reaction when they do things dirty on the court.
So listen, Joker's going to get suspended, and more on him in a moment. He is, in his full press conference, he tells you why he's so mad at Markieff Morris. And if you watch it, you know why he's so mad at Markieff Morris. This is supposed to be a regular take foul, something the NBA needs to eliminate. Just they called it the Euro foul, and then it got eliminated in Europe. These fast break stopping fouls got to go. But it's supposed to be a regular take foul. And Markieff Morris elbows him in the ribs and knees him in the knee. So Markieff Morris does, you know, some Markieff Morris stuff to amp it up. But Jokic then takes it to an 11. Jokic running by his standards, I think that's full speed. I think that's about as fast as the Joker can go. And hitting a guy who's not looking is about as dirty as it gets in the NBA. We saw Patrick Beverley suspended when he shoved Chris Paul after the game just recently this past season. So definitely Jokic will be suspended. And I understand why he was upset, Wilds. He obviously drastically overreacted. But I also got to say this. Jokic has a responsibility. that Markieff Morris doesn't have. And in this moment, he doesn't live up to it. He's a league MVP. He's one of the 10 best players in the sport. Can't be doing stuff like this. I'm just curious. Let's just go through other MVPs. Whole career. You seen Giannis do something like this? I haven't. Bron's been playing 19 years. Seen him do something like this? I haven't. KD. Seen him do something like this? I haven't. The only time I can remember Steph getting thrown out of a game was when, the game was rigged for ratings or money. He didn't know which, or his wife didn't know which, and he whipped his mouthpiece at the fans because he was so upset because LeBron was ruining his season. We've never seen Steph do something dirty like this. Like, you're not supposed to act like this is a league MVP, Wilds. You're not. I mean, tell me the last...
I get it.
Tell me the last one. I just can't think of it. Like, Markieff Morris is in the Anthony Mason, mold. Fine. Jokic is not supposed to do stuff like this.
Do you think that any other MVP would be hit like that at midcourt? Because I think you got to start there. Do you think if Steph was on a drive and it's a take foul, that Markieff Morris would come and slam into Steph? I don't think he would.
Yeah.
I think he gave him a little bit of extra because the Joker's a big guy. So he gives him a little bit of something extra, but he's not going to hit Durant like that. He's not going to hit Giannis like that. He's certainly not going to hit LeBron like that. He hit Joker because Joker, I don't think, demands as much respect as those guys. So he gave him a little something extra.
Well, maybe it's...
So, Antoine...
Listen, I don't know. Let me just, because you asked it, let me just add this real quick, Antoine. Because you said any other MVP, and Luka hasn't won an MVP, but he will one day. And Markieff's brother, Marcus, stomped on Luka's ankle. So I don't know if it's there's an obvious similarity between Jokic and Luka, but I'm not sure what it is, and there's an obvious similarity between the Morris twins. They're twins, they're brothers. But I do think the Morris twins, Antoine, have mixed it up with LeBron plenty of time. I don't think LeBron would ever respond, and Durant would never respond by hitting a guy who's not looking.
Nigga, I can't let you off the hook with that. That's not that. You can't put that on. He's still a man, and he still has to defend himself. I don't care what awards you got, whether you MVP or not. I watched Karl Malone take it from Dennis Rodman, protect himself against Dennis Rodman in the late 90s playing in the finals, and how Dennis used to mess with you and play physical. It's just not an excuse. And plus, you got to think about the reputation of the Morris twins in the league right now. They're known as physical guys that's going to play dirty, that's going to bang you up. And that's a reaction. I guarantee you, if that was somebody else, he may not react like that. He may go up to him, he may not shove him. But because it's the Morris twins, I think that's why he reacts like that. And so when you dish out stuff, you got to be willing to take it. But I don't think because it's MVP.
Listen, I agree with you. And I'm not here trying to defend Markieff Morris. And I do feel a little bad that Marcus Morris is getting thrown into this. Marcus Morris, like, I wasn't even in this state, guys. Like, what are you doing to me here? But I'm all for defending yourself. But running up on a guy who's not looking at you is not defending yourself. If Markieff would have been facing him and he'd have ran up and shoved him, it might have, like Spoelstra said, maybe it starts a fight. Who knows? And then if Marcus is in the building, Nikola's brothers were in the building, and you don't want no problem with those two. This could have gotten all messy. However, I just think it's because he's not looking at him, Jenna. Because he's not looking at him is what makes it so, beyond what you would expect is a typical retaliation.
All right, drama on the court to drama off the court. Let's talk a little Ben Simmons now. That was a transition.